Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You don't understand. Something really bad is about to happen here.
Trust me, I know I'm good at this stuff.
We need a miracle. It's very important.
Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
Vital.
We go fly.
Guidance.
Guidance, go.
Time circuits on.
Everything is going extremely well.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
He used to volunteer to get blown up on occasion.
Any excuse not to ski.
It sure explains what we see on the Hubble Space Telescope.
Hi, gang. Welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio. It's the show that places napkins at the table in alphabetical order.
99% of the time.
We want to give a shout out to our friends listening in Albania and Egypt and also Russia. Welcome to the Comedy Parenting family. In the studio, I've got the whole gang here. Let's start out with Josiah. What's going on in your world, Josiah?
Monopoly.
Oh, yeah. He wants to do an all-night Monopoly game tonight. And Elijah, what's happening with you?
Disassembling stuff.
I would be disassembling a Monopoly game if I were you. Joshua, how you doing?
Well, unfortunately, my incineration experiment went up in flames.
Ooh, that's going to be kind of germane to what we're talking about tonight. And Courtney, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, but my ant farm is not.
Wait, is that the broken glass down there in the living room?
Yep.
The one next to my bedroom?
Uh-huh.
You're not going to say that they went into my room, did they?
Well, I can't dictate where the ants go.
Oh, my word. Okay. Well, anyway, today we're going to be talking about the extracurricular subject of bottle rockets in ski school. We'll be right back after this word from Treesock Press.
Mud grips, white tip, cigar sticking out of my face, Earnhardt racing sticker on the window, banged up fender, 4x4 straight pipe roar, primer and rust all over the door, scarred up knuckles, Mac belt buckle, white t-shirt, ain't afraid to work, got a what are you looking at, pretty boy smirk.
Are you a failure as a parent or grandparent? Do your little ones cry for no apparent reason?
Do you have lots of money?
If you answered yes to these or any other invasive questions, we have good news for you. Treesock Press was named after a cat.
A very cute cat.
Treesock Press printed a book. That book is available in nearly indestructible hardback form and is printed with non-toxic ink so your little dinosaur can virtually eat the book. If this all seems too good to be true, you can go buy a cheap Disney book that's printed in China. Books printed in China aren't as good for teething toddlers as ones printed in Wisconsin.
What's the name of our book?
Dad the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come. This book is funnier than a root canal on a sinking ship.
I didn't know ships had teeth.
Order your copies of Dad the Tooth Fairy Didn't Come from Amazon today. Or tomorrow if you're on the international dateline.
Captain, I must inform you, you're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
Hey Dad, did you really shoot bottle rockets in ski school?
Yeah, boy, did we ever. Why do you ask?
Well, last time I checked, they weren't exactly the most legal thing to do.
We kind of rode the ragged edge in ski school, you know?
Why don't you still do it, Dad?
Well, you can't even roast marshmallows in ski school anymore. Something about wanting us to not roast marshmallows or shoot bottle rocks, but rather ski.
Who started that whole bottle rocket thing anyways?
Well, it was actually started by our ski school supervisor, kids ski school supervisor. His name was Frog. Frog used to go to Lake Powell a lot, and they shot bottle rockets off the houseboats and things like that. And I think he just kind of brought that whole genre to ski school with him. And the kids' ski school instructors, for some reason, just jumped right on top of it, and were happy to do that.
For some reason,
Mm-hmm.
Any excuse not to ski.
When's the first time you heard about it?
Well, I was on the race crew at Buttermilk, ski area there in Aspen, and I used to hear one bottle rocket go off every day after lunch or around lunchtime behind the restaurant. And I thought, that's whacked. Those things are illegal, and you can't launch those. And I didn't even know what it was about. And I found out later on what was going on there. And I ended up being on the launch team once I became a ski instructor.
Because you knew rocket science?
No, it's just because I was a willing idiot.
Were some bottle rockets better than others?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the bottle rocket of choice was the whistling moon traveler. So when you lit the thing, it would make a whistling noise going up, and then it would go kablooey up in the sky. So it was sort of like...
If it's going up, why does it sound like it's going down?
Because of the Doppler effect.
Wait, the what effect?
Because of the Doppler effect.
I shot bottle rockets for years and years and years, and I never thought about why they sounded like they were going down when they were going up. Doppler effect, huh?
Did you shoot them up in the air or at objects?
We shot them up in the air a lot, but also we shot them at people.
People? Who?
I used to shoot them at an instructor named Buckwheat, and when Buckwheat would go back to the locker room, I'd shoot him down the hallway at him when he was going by.
Why Buckwheat?
I just like to pick on him. And there was also a lift operator down at the bottom of Buttermilk Ski Area. His name was Boogerbreath, and we used to shoot bottle rockets at him.
Because he doesn't have enough excitement in his life anyway?
No, not when you're standing at the bottom of the chairlift before anybody shows up. And so the ski instructor named Toad would make a little ramp and lay the bottle rocket down on the ramp and point it at Boogerbreath, and Boogerbreath would yell, he would taunt at us, like, come on, let me have it, let me have it. And Toad would yell, freeze, gopher! And then he would shoot the bottle rocket at him.
Dad, did you ever hit him?
Oh, I didn't, but I think Uncle Chuck hit him one time, maybe in the legs.
They don't make ski school like they used to.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We're talking about bottle rockets in ski school. We don't do it anymore, but we used to do it a lot. We'll be right back.
99 red balloons floating in the summer sky. Panic bells, it's red alert. There's something here from somewhere else.
This moment of uncontrollable laughter was made possible by a 32-year-old man with little to no coordination attempting to execute a simple cartwheel. His name is Sergeant Warner, but young James, our laughing friend here, simply calls him Dad. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Comedy?
Parenting?
Radio.
Did you ever shoot anybody else?
No, but we had a guy named Uncle Chuck, and he used to volunteer to get blown up on occasion.
Blown up?
Yeah. He had 6 kids, so he never got new ski boots.
You have 7 kids. What about your ski boots?
I haven't had new ski boots in a while. Anyway, Toad would strap a bottle rocket in one of Uncle Chuck's ski boot buckles, and then he would light it. And Chuck would spin around while the thing was going... And when it went kablooey, Uncle Chuck would jump up in the air and then land on his back in the snow.
Did he ever win a Oscar for it?
No, he wasn't even nominated.
It's a shame, all this unrecognized talent that goes by us.
Yeah.
Didn't you do something called Weenies in Space?
That was like the most famous thing about the bottle rockets at Buttermilk. And I was telling you about how I heard bottle rockets at lunchtime when I was on the race crew.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that they were doing Weenies in Space every day after lunch.
What's Weenies in Space?
Well, you take the tip of a hot dog and cut it off, and then you screw it onto the bottle rocket, and then you go outside and launch the thing in the air, and all the kids go, yay, watching Weenies in Space. It's kind of cool.
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah, but it morphed after a while. We ended up having a commander on the space capsule.
Who is the commander?
Commander McFly.
McFly as in Marty McFly?
No. We would take a fly and attach it to the rocket and launch it.
How did you attach a fly to a rocket?
That's where the real rocket science comes in right there. we would get a little packet of mustard, and the guy who had the hot dog on the tip of the rocket would be sitting there at the table with all the kids around him. The other instructor would come up with the opened up packet of mustard and hold it up about 4 feet in the air above the plate and squeeze it out slowly, and it would drip onto the plate. And the guy who was sitting at the table go, "Oh, look, we have baby diarrhea landing on the plate to attach the Commander McFly." And while that was going on, the third ski instructor, which might be me, for example, would be standing in the background with a whoopie cushion. So as the baby diarrhea was landing on the paper plate, you would hear...
I've never heard of that as being a good attachment, but I guess that'll work for McFly.
Well, yeah, then what you would do is you dip the bottle rocket hot dog in the baby diarrhea, and then you have to go find a fly.
Where do you find space fit flies?
Well, it just so happens that in the wintertime back then, there were always flies on the window panes inside the restaurant trying to get out.
So they weren't specially trained flies?
Actually, they probably were, but they were trying to get out of the restaurant. And so you would walk up behind them with the baby diarrhea on the hot dog and just gently touch it to their back, and they would stick to it. Then you go back to the table and announce that you have Commander McFly ready to pilot the lunar module. And you would have all the kids get their goggles on for safety, eye protection, and you all go walking out the door to do Weenies in Space with the Commander McFly.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. We'll be right back.
I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky.
Sure, humans can be a little weird at times, but take it from me, I'm a dog. And a person is about the best thing that can happen to a shelter pet. So if you want to learn how you can be that person, get down to your local pet shelter or visit theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Ha! Comedy Parenting Radio. Tell it to the magistrate.
So you launched a fly out in outer space.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the case. So you had everybody stand around in a circle, put their eye protection on, and there'd be like anywhere from 25 to 50 kids standing in a circle, and get down there with a lighter, light the fuse, and start doing the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, in time with the fuse. And sure enough, there goes Commander McFly up in the air with the rocket in a glorious kaboom.
No flies were harmed in the making of this radio production. Do you think there are piles of hot dogs in outer space now?
I'm pretty sure that there are junk hot dogs floating around up there with the satellites and things that are going to fall back to Earth. Probably someday it'll be raining hot dogs out of the sky.
It sure explains what we see on the Hubble Space Telescope.
I'm thinking maybe that's the cause of climate change, is the hot dogs up there.
Did you ever have any rockets that had mishaps?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one time I was launching a Weenies in Space at the top of Buttermilk Ski Area outside the restaurant with my little ski group.
Mm-hmm.
And the payload was a little skewed, I think. Rocket took off, went up in the air about 5 feet, and then made a beeline right for the picture window, and it hit the window and blew up right on the picture window.
Did it survive? The rocket, not the window.
There were mustard and hot dog all over the window pane. So, people come up to Aspen, get a nice expensive lunch, and sit down and look out the window at this glorious view of the mountains, the sky, and this splattered hot dog all over the window. Okay, you've been listening to Comedy Parenting Radio talking about Weenies in Space and hot dogs in ski school. I want to thank you guys for coming up in the studio tonight.
No problem.
You're welcome.
No problem.
And when you guys go, just go ahead and unwrap that package of hot dogs, and we'll cook them up for dinner, okay?
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye. And it hit this old lady in the ski boot, and it blew up on her boots. Quick, get on the chairlift.